Okay, folks, today you are going to be doing an activity with something called aeronautics. Now, aeronautics has to do with how objects and um, vehicles fly through the air. So aeronautics is what we're examining, and I have a little sketch here of two airplanes, paper airplanes. The question we're really examining today is, does the material matter? So I have two types of paper. There's this one, which is called cardstock, which is you'll observe different than just printer paper. So one will be made of cardstock, and one plane is going to be made of regular paper, printer paper. You're going to make the same kind of airplane out of each type of material. And what you're trying to figure out is this: will one outperform the other? So you're probably thinking right now to yourself, well, I think one might be better than the other. Automatically, you're probably thinking something. So here's what you need to know about the process that you're going to follow. As teams, what you're going to do is you're going to research and agree on one type of plane to test with. So this is at your table. Everyone at your table must make the same type of airplane. No differences. We want to make sure we control some things in this, not an experiment, an investigation, but we do want to control some of the variables. So in this case, you have to all agree to make the same type of plane. You're all going to work together, separately but together. Everyone will make one, and then I'll go further with the directions. Also, for your research, for this purpose and this purpose alone, you may look at a website like YouTube to help you find how to make certain types of airplanes, because not everybody knows how to make one or a certain style. That is going to be allowed. That, to be clear, is only allowed in STEM class on this date during this time. No other time should you be in my classroom on YouTube doing anything other than right now, at this moment, researching how to build types of airplanes. Step number 2, everybody at your table makes that model out of cardstock and normal paper. So literally every single person is going to make how many airplanes? 2 would be the answer. Number 3, after you've all made your airplanes, you're going to, at your table, judge which one is best made out of both paper types. So if you know that yours was not folded very well, even though you did your best, probably someone else at your table made one that's very good. After that, you discuss and predict how they will perform. At no point during any of this should an airplane be thrown. Believe it or not, I don't want any airplanes being thrown at this point. So if you throw an airplane during this stage, you will lose your pilot's license and you will not be flying or participating in this activity any further. I'll come up with an alternate assignment for you. So don't throw them. Safety concern. So safety here is going to be job number 1. Here's a very crude little drawing of our classroom. A couple things are going to change when it's time for testing. First, the desks are going to be pushed over, not completely out of the way to make them useless, but they're going to be pushed over some distance to make space in the middle of the room. We're also going to refer to the middle of the room now as the runway. Nobody should be entering the runway. This is not a safe zone. The only people who may be near the runway are the people that the teacher picks from a table at one time. So those people would come over here, and then they would get to throw their airplanes. Everybody who's over here should be wearing goggles. What? Are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. Some of the designs for the airplanes, they come to a very sharp point. And cardstock is a very firm paper, and the last thing you want to do is get hit in the eye with a pointy, hard object flying through the air. Not a good thing. So, safety. Number 1, stay out of the runway. Number 2, goggles. Number 3, third thing you need to know is only with permission may you enter the runway. It's the same at an airport. No airplane is allowed to just get on the runway and take off whenever they want. There has to be some order and some safety involved. So, to review, the runway is the only place where airplanes get thrown. Everyone has to wear goggles, and permission must be given from the adult in the room on whether or not you may enter the runway to throw your plane. Okay, now to the testing. Here's the plan. When it is time for you and your team to test, you're going to do this. You're going to fly one model made of cardstock. After it lands, you're going to measure and record the distance. You and the teacher can decide if you count sliding on the ground or if you think you should count just where it hits the ground first. My personal opinion, it's easier to let it slide. Number 3, fly one model with the printer paper, like normal paper, and then you measure and record the distance for that one. So each time you fly the plane, you measure and record the distance. Then you fly the next plane made out of the regular paper, you record the distance. Finally, you clear the runway and your team's testing is done. Now this should be repeated multiple times. So you're going to do one round and then the next table gets to go. That's why I wrote next. And then the next table goes and so on. As we go through these rotations, we're going to have each table hopefully able to go at least twice, maybe more. It depends how efficiently we get the job done. But that's the idea behind today's lesson. Make sure you are working as a team, researching well, and of course being respectful, responsible, and safe. All right, have a good morning.